I want you to picture something. A woman, 61 years old, wakes up, grabs her phone before her feet even touch the floor, drinks a cup of black coffee on a completely empty stomach, rushes through traffic with her heart pounding, and sits down at a desk without ever once looking at the sky. She does this every single day for 19 years. Then, one Tuesday morning, she collapses in her kitchen. That woman was me. My name is Julie. I'm 80 years old now, and I am about to tell you exactly what almost killed me, and exactly what I changed that I believe gave me these last 19 years and counting. Stay with me, because somewhere in the next few minutes, I promise you're going to recognize yourself. And by the end, you're going to know exactly what to do differently tomorrow morning. Not someday, tomorrow. Let me take you back. It was a Tuesday. I remember that because Tuesdays were my worst days. Client calls, deadlines, the whole circus. I was 61 years old, still working full time, still convinced I was invincible because I felt fine. That's the cruelest trick your body plays on you, you know. It doesn't warn you. It doesn't send a memo. It just waits. That morning went exactly like every other morning had gone for 19 years. My alarm went off at 5:45. Before I had even opened my eyes all the way, my hand was already reaching for my phone on the nightstand. Emails, news, a little scrolling. My heart rate was already climbing and I hadn't even sat up yet. I want you to think about that for a second. Before your feet touch the floor, before you've had a sip of water, before your body has had one single moment to wake up gently, you're already flooding your brain with stress, information, and other people's demands. Does that sound familiar to anyone watching this? I got up. I made coffee, strong, black, on a stomach that had nothing else in it. I told myself that was efficient. I got dressed in a hurry because I always ran 10 minutes behind, and I drove to work with my jaw clenched, gripping the steering wheel like it owed me money. By the time I sat down at my desk, my heart was pounding and I hadn't even done anything yet. That was every morning, for 19 years. And then that Tuesday at 9:14 in the morning, I stood up from my desk to get a folder from the filing cabinet and the room turned sideways. I don't remember hitting the floor. I remember waking up on a stretcher with a paramedic shining a light in my eyes, asking me my name, the date, who was the president. At the hospital, they ran test after test. My blood pressure was through the roof. My cortisol, that's your stress hormone for those who don't know, was elevated in a way the doctor said he didn't love seeing. My heart, thankfully, was structurally fine. But the doctor, a young man who couldn't have been older than 40, sat across from me and said something I have never forgotten. He said, "Julie, your body isn't broken, it's exhausted, and it's been asking you to slow down for a very long time. This morning, it stopped asking." I sat in that hospital bed and I cried. Not because I was scared of dying, though I was, a little. I cried because I realized I had spent 19 years treating my mornings like an enemy to defeat instead of a gift to receive. Every single morning I had been starting my day at war. War with the clock, war with my phone, war with my own nervous system. And here's the thing nobody tells you. How you start your morning doesn't just affect your morning, it sets the chemical tone for your entire day, maybe your entire life. I want to pause here and ask you something. Not to make you feel bad, heaven knows I'm the last person who should judge anyone for this, but I want you to really think about it. What does the first hour of your day actually look like? Is it calm? Or is it chaos, wearing a to-do list as a disguise? Because I promise you, I thought I was fine too, right up until I wasn't. After I got out of the hospital, I became a little obsessed, if I'm honest. I read everything I could get my hands on about sleep, about stress hormones, about what actually happens in your body in those first 60 minutes after you wake up. And here's what I learned, in plain language, no medical degree required. When you wake up, your cortisol is already naturally higher than it will be most of the rest of the day. That's normal. It's what gives you the energy to get moving. But if the very first thing you do is grab a glaring phone screen and start absorbing bad news, urgent emails, or other people's opinions, you are pouring gasoline on a fire that was already lit. Then, if you skip food and go straight for caffeine on an empty stomach, you spike that stress response even higher. Your body thinks it's under threat. Not because there's a tiger chasing you, but because chemically it can't always tell the difference between email from my boss and danger. Then you rush. You clench your jaw, you grip the wheel, you take shallow breaths. And your body, which was already on high alert from your phone and your coffee, now gets one more signal. Emergency, emergency, emergency. Do that every single day for 19 years, and I promise you, your body will eventually collapse in a kitchen or a hallway or an office, just like mine did. But here's the good news, and this is the part I really want you to hear. Your body forgives. Mine did. And if I could change course at 61 after 19 years of doing everything wrong, you can change course today, no matter your age, no matter how long you've been running yourself ragged. So let me tell you exactly what I changed. Not a fancy $500 wellness routine, nothing you need to buy, just 5 small shifts done in order every single morning for the last 19 years. First, I don't touch my phone for the first 30 minutes. I know what you're thinking. Julie, that's impossible. I check my phone before I've even opened my eyes. I used to say the exact same thing, but I started leaving my phone charging in the kitchen, not the bedroom, out of arm's reach, because if it's within reach, we reach for it. It's not a willpower problem, it's a design problem. So I solved it with distance instead of discipline. Second, before anything else, I drink a full glass of water. Your body goes 6, 7, 8 hours without a drop of water while you sleep. The very first thing I give it now isn't caffeine and stress, it's hydration. Just 1 glass, slowly, sitting on the edge of my bed. That's it. That's the whole step. Third, I go outside, or at least to a window, and I look at natural light for a few minutes before I do anything else. I learned that natural morning light helps regulate your body's internal clock, the thing that controls your sleep, your mood, your energy for the whole day. I used to keep my curtains shut, rush around in artificial light, and wonder why I felt jittery and foggy by 9 a.m. Now, rain or shine, I step onto my little back porch and I just look at the sky for 3 minutes, sometimes 5 if the birds are especially chatty that day. Fourth, I eat something, anything, before I have caffeine. Even if it's just a few almonds or half a banana, something in my stomach before the coffee hits it. That one change alone made an enormous difference in how jittery and anxious I used to feel by mid-morning. And fifth, and this one might surprise you, I move slowly before I move fast. Not exercise, not in the beginning, just gentle stretching, a short walk around the block, sometimes just rolling my shoulders and neck while the kettle boils. I give my body a chance to wake up on its own terms before I ask it to perform. That's it. That's the whole routine. Water, light, food before caffeine, gentle movement, and no phone for the first half hour. It sounds almost too simple to matter, doesn't it? I thought so too. But 19 years later, at 80 years old, my blood pressure is better than it was at 50. My doctor calls me his favourite anomaly, and I credit these 5 small things, done consistently, more than almost anything else I've done for my health. Now, I want to be honest with you about something because I think it matters. This isn't about willpower. I don't have more discipline than you do. If anything, at 61, I had less. I was tired, I was stressed, I was running on fumes. What actually worked was removing the friction and the temptation, not fighting it with sheer grit every single day. I moved my phone out of the bedroom because I know myself. I put a glass of water on my nightstand the night before because I know I won't get up and make one at 5:45 in a groggy haze. I laid out my walking shoes by the back door. I am not a superhero. I am just an old woman who learned that the environment you build around yourself matters more than the promises you make to yourself. And I think that's really what I want you to walk away with today. It's not about becoming a different person overnight. It's about making the healthy choice the easy choice, so that on your worst, most exhausted mornings, the mornings you don't have any willpower left at all, you still end up doing the thing that helps you, simply because it's right there and the phone isn't. Sometimes I think about that woman on the kitchen floor, 61 years old, terrified, staring up at her ceiling fan, wondering what had just happened to her. If I could go back and kneel down next to her, do you know what I'd say? I wouldn't say, "You're going to be fine," because I don't think she'd believe me. And honestly, I didn't know that yet either. I think I would just say, "You don't have to earn your rest by running yourself into the ground first. You are allowed to be gentle with your mornings. You are allowed to put the phone down. You are allowed to look at the sky before you look at your inbox." And I would say the same thing to you right now watching this. You don't have to wait for a collapse in your kitchen to decide your mornings deserve better than chaos. So here is what I want to ask of you. Not tomorrow, not someday when things calm down, because, and I say this with all the love of a grandmother who has lived 80 years, things never calm down on their own. You have to be the one who calms them. Tomorrow morning, before you do anything else, I want you to try just one of these 5 things. Just one. Leave your phone in another room tonight. Or put a glass of water by your bed right now before you forget. Or promise yourself 3 minutes by a window before you touch a screen. Pick one, just one. Do it for a week. See how you feel. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to sit here and tell you this will add 19 years to your life the way it seems to have for me. Nobody can promise you that, and anybody who does is selling you something. What I can tell you, as a woman who has now lived 80 years and watched an awful lot of sunrises, is this. The way you treat the first hour of your day is a message you send to your whole body about whether it's safe to slow down or whether it needs to stay braced for battle. For 19 years, I sent my body the message that every morning was an emergency. I'd like to think that these last 19 years I've been sending it a different message, and it seems to be listening. So, is your morning routine killing you? I can't answer that for you. Only you know what your mornings actually look like when no one's watching. But if any part of what I said today made you a little uncomfortable, if you recognized your own hand reaching for your phone before your feet even hit the floor, I hope you'll take that discomfort as information, not judgment. I collapsed in my kitchen at 61 years old because I didn't know any better. You're watching this video, which means you do. Go put that glass of water by your bed. I'll see you tomorrow morning, and I mean that. Because somewhere out there tomorrow, I'll be doing exactly what I just told you to do. Watching the sunrise, glass of water in hand, phone nowhere in sight. I hope you'll be doing it too.